Closing gong there live from the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, bringing to an end trading for the day. Chairman Phillips Consulting's Felicia Phillips did the honors of ringing the closing gong, or beating the closing gong. Business editor Effiong Ekop will join us in the course of the show for more incisive analysis on today's proceedings, this last working day of the week at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Thank you for joining us. I am Tolu Lokpe Ogunjobi. This is Business Nigeria. Entrepreneurship and small and medium enterprises, SMEs, have contributed immensely to the growth of Nigeria's economy. They are ever plagued by a number of challenges which hinder their adequate growth and development. Some of the challenges are high interest rates. Now, we also have import liberalization, company income tax, amongst others. The need to acquire and develop specific entrepreneurial skills cannot be overemphasized, as entrepreneurship is vital to creating employment and also constitutes a special form of employability for graduates. The benefit of acquiring entrepreneurial skills includes, amongst others, enhancing the ability to be self-employed, reducing society dependence on white-collar jobs, helping youths develop a positive attitude towards work and labor, and also reducing poverty and crime rates in the country. Entrepreneurial skills development in Nigeria is of paramount importance now more than ever, as the days of job availability for both the private and public sectors of the economy seems to be coming to an end. And now it is the responsibility of government to provide employment and security for the people, amongst other things. And where it cannot adequately provide employment for the people, what it does is to provide the enabling environment for non-state actors to bridge this gap. Now, these non-state actors include small and medium-scale enterprises, which accounts for 47% of Nigeria's gross domestic product. They are a veritable vehicle for the achievement of national microeconomic objectives in terms of employment generation at low investment cost and enhancement of apprenticeship training. But running small and medium enterprises in Nigeria is rather difficult due to the prevalent harsh economic environment and policies of government, such as like the structural adjustment program of the Babangida administration that came with its abundant devaluation of the naira. Most of the SMEs collapsed because the quantum of naira they required to purchase the appropriate amount of foreign exchange for their raw materials shrunk considerably. As a result, the SME sector was reduced to rubble, the economy became weak, and the following conditions ensued. Buying and selling became the mainstay of the Nigerian economy. The country became a dumping ground for other economies. The real sector became inactive, unemployment escalated, and excessive importation became the order of the day, and capacity utilization plummeted. Also, the increase in demand for consumer products has created a large market for entrepreneurs and small and medium enterprises in the country. Well, I have joining me in the studio. He's a profit creator who works for the development of small and medium enterprises, scale enterprises. That's John Akinlolu. We'll be talking more on this. John, thank you very much for joining us today.
Okay, thank you very much. The name is Joy.
Joy Akinlolu, yes. Now, Joy, let me start this way. What's your assessment of SMEs in Nigeria? With these challenges we've highlighted, what do you make of SMEs? Can they really contribute to the growth? What is expected of them is so much. With all of these challenges, do you think they can do all this?
Well, my answer would be yes, they can, but it will not be business as usual again, because everything now takes more than what you're used to on a daily basis. So for every entrepreneur, he had to rechannel his effort to know how he can actually market what he does better than before. So if you're still an entrepreneur and you're still using the same old ways of doing things, it's not time for them to pick up and do it differently. And that's why I said, yes, they can.
But indeed, talking about knowing how to package themselves has always been one issue. I was aware of a time when BOI got a particular set of people to help people package their ideas. Because many people say funds might not be all of it.
Yeah.
Issues around even what they want to do. What do they really want to do? Some don't even have good ideas. Some have funds, they don't even have the ideas. And some have the ideas, they don't have the funding. So which do you think really needs to come first, building an MSME?
Now, building an MSME, what you need first is, who are you trying to sell to? A lot of people that go into SME these days, when you ask them, who are they trying to sell to? They have the word that looks like everybody. And there's nothing like everybody. There should be a niche. There should be a group of people that you're actually going after. If that is not there, then it means that you just continue to struggle as you go, because you don't have the financial capability for you to go after everybody. So it's important that you first identify who you want to go after, why you're going after them, then what is the message you want to pass across to them that will attract them, that will be irresistible to them, for them to come to you, and what media is best for you to attract them. So if it is not in that order, then whatever they're doing will always go wrong.
Marketing is very important. You've identified that. And I think in this part of the world, we still need to really work on ourselves when it comes to that. Now, for a small business, how do I now perfectly market what I have to offer? Well, how do I let the public really understand that this is what I want to do? It's a major challenge. Many of them don't really know how to sell their ideas.
Well, I will accept that it's a major problem, because people who preach entrepreneurship today do not first tell people that the first thing you need to do is to identify who is your market. If you just jump into production, like I tell people, producing is easier, but how do you sell it? So first identify how you're going to sell it before you go into production. Because if you produce and you're looking for who to sell to, it's a waste of your time. So if you identify who you're going to sell to first, and that's why every entrepreneur must see himself as a marketer. Some people take marketing like, I'll do it later. Like it's a second opinion. It's not a second opinion. If you're going to survive in this kind of terrain that we're in, it should be the first opinion. You should be the best marketer of your product. You should be the best salesman of your product, because if you don't sell, if you don't market, money is not coming in, you're not in business yet. And that's why everybody needs to take it up as a job. It should be the number one job of every entrepreneur. You should know how to market.
Joy, I go back to the issue of standards.
Yeah.
We've always had this issue. Lately, we had some of our yams even sent back from abroad. Those are sent to America and all of that. Yeah. Now, packaging and standardization is something that is very important.
Yes.
Are we really, our small and medium scale enterprises in Nigeria, are they meeting up with standards?
Yeah, some are actually doing that. Some who just want to do everything on a rush are actually doing that. If you see a company, a small scale business owner that have 10 products, I say you can't have standard over 10 products if you actually want to go for standard. So it's good to take one product, take it to the standard before you move to other products. But what you see them doing is that I have so many products, because the mindset is, if I don't sell this one will sell. If I don't sell this one will sell. So if you're doing that, then we will not be able to meet up to that standard that is required. And that's why you are seeing that happening to us here in Nigeria.
But marketing seems to be expensive in this part of the world. Don't you think so?
It depends on the way we are going through it. It's not expensive. And if it is expensive, it's the best expense you can ever have in a business, because it's the only expenses you have that brings returns. So if you say it's expensive, then what else? Is it paying staff that is not expensive? Is it paying your house rent that is not expensive? But the only expense you have in your business that brings a return is marketing. So it's not expensive if you look at your return on investment.
Let's look at the contributions now from this MSMEs and all to the country's GDP. Okay. In all that we still see, it still looks like lots need to be done. On the government side, lots of funds, grants come out. But many of these MSMEs don't even access some of these funds. What is responsible for this? CBN comes out with 220 billion. Another year they come out with so billion, and we still have our MSMEs not growing. I had this argument that someone said, why not just empower Indomie sellers? 100,000 each. Go back there in 6 months and you see what they have for you. But some people will get millions of naira, and in 6 months they don't have anything to show for it. Which way do we go?
Now, when it comes to government creating different ways in order to help MSMEs, now I would say they are not doing that enough. What they have is more like, let us just say we have this thing. There's some of this establishment that they have that, like, if I can use the word moribund, is not actually working the way it does. Recently, I discovered that there's an establishment in the federal government parastatal that if you are a small-scale small-scale business owner and you produce, and your production has to do with NAFDAC, SON, standard organization, or this, you could come under them for 3.5 years, and they will you will still sell under their logo, under their brand, until when you can meet up with that level. But the point is, how many people actually know about this out there? I got to their office and I'm like, wow, is this still working? So we have so many things that they said they have done, but they are not doing that enough. Many of them were established for them to just have the glory, not because they actually wanted to help business owners. And that's why every business person who wants to go into business should stand on his own. Government may not come up. They are not doing it because of you. They are doing it for the glory. They want the applause. So if they're doing it for the applause and you're waiting for them, then you're wasting your life and you're wasting your money as well.
Indeed, this administration, everyone knows we are trying to move away from oil, and initiated the Ease of Doing Business committee, which we've seen many investors already commending government, saying they can now get visas on arrival and all of that. And I know definitely one or two effects of this would also be on MSMEs. You deal with these people regularly. What are the feelers? What are you getting from them? What are they saying? Is it impacting positively now that we really intend to look inwards?
On the paper, yes. In the real world, no. Because if I say yes on their behalf, the question is, how many of them can actually say, from this, it has increased my profit over time? So on paper, yes, what they have said is correct, but in the real act of it, the answer is no. The answer is no. You think in terms of somebody who's in production, you still have to deal with the issue of electricity. You think in terms of the farmers who are there producing, they don't know where to get those things to. So there's a lot to be done more than just playing to the gallery like they are doing now. So it is usual thing to see government playing to the gallery. That's the way I see it. But as a business owner, and I will continue to say this, it's your job. It's your word. You don't have the fiat money. You don't have that money. No, government may not bring money to you. But the little you have, use it wisely so that your business can expand.
Infrastructure gap, thank God you identified that almost finally now. Infrastructure cannot be ruled out of this. Moving the produce from the rural areas to the urban areas. Power supply, which you've also identified. These things are now like an everyday song that we sing. And we tend not to be. If we don't get this right, we cannot harness the benefit of MSMEs. Let's be realistic. That is what I see. So what would now be your advice to MSMEs, maybe small business owners at this, in quote, hard times?
Now, let me use a story of someone. I met with a doctor who normally say, don't refer to me as a doctor, refer to me as a best-selling medical practitioner, because he has about 4 hospitals. When he started 30 years ago, he said it was almost like this. No infrastructure, no electricity, no this, no that. But he said he decided that it is my life. It now depends on what I make out of it. So every entrepreneur should decide now that government policy is not for them. They should look for ways in which they can go around this thing, because if you're waiting until the time when it gets better, then you have to wait until your old age. So if you don't have that time, then it is time for every entrepreneur to stand up and do something for themselves.
Even at lending rates of more than 18%.
Well, if you can do without going to the bank to lend for loan, you could excel. You could excel, because sometimes, do you know that sometimes more money to an entrepreneur kills their business. More growth to an entrepreneur kills the business. So instead of you actually giving somebody more money for the business, try to find out what is the basic problem that he has. Some business owners cannot handle millions of naira. you give them millions of naira, you've just given them a lot of trouble or problem, so to speak. But if it is you're solving their immediate problem, one step at a time, then they will get there.
Joy Akinlolu, I must really thank you for your time here now, giving us insight, a profit creator and also dealing with MSMEs across the country. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Show. Well, we'll go on a break now, and TVC News business editor will be back, and we'll be talking live to the chairman of Phillips Consultants, Philip. He will be talking to us, giving us insight, Felusha Phillips, on issues around the market. Of course, stay with us, don't go away. Still Business Nigeria. Thank you for staying tuned. Well, we now cross to the stock market, where TVC News business editor joins us live from the exchange. Hello, Ekop. Take it away, Ekop.
Hello, Tolu. Good afternoon. The market ended in red, 0.15%. That's index that dipped in, I told you earlier at 1:30 that we were trading in the lower territories and stock prices were down at the close of transactions. But here today we had the chairman of Phillips Consulting, and he came to the trading floor to celebrate 25th anniversary of his company with the community of stockbrokers, and we have him here at the exchange, so you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks to be here.
Phillips Consulting celebrating 25 years of services to the Nigerian economy. How does it feel?
Wow, we feel extremely elated. We feel very proud, proudly Nigerian, if I want to add that. And it just helps to tell a lot of other organizations that these things can be done. So, and the recognition that the exchange has given us to actually allow us to come and hit the gong at the floor of the stock exchange without being a listed company is something that we really value, and we value the recognition that's been given.
That really sounds sweet. But basically, what is consulting? When we talk about consulting, how do we bring it to the understanding of the ordinary people? You consult, what does it mean?
Well, what we try to do as consultants is try to advise organizations, try to advise institutions on how they can do the things they want to do in a way that is efficient, that is better, that adds value to society, and gives them a good return on the investment that they make in running that organization. So you find that usually it revolves around coming up with a good strategy, which we can help them to come up with. It talks about, it comes around with devising good and efficient ways of working, and finally ensuring that you engage and recruit the right people to do the work that's got to be done. And when you look at it, that's really what it revolves around. Yeah.
Right. Many people do not know that you are highly involved in capital market activities. So tell me, what services do you offer the community?
Okay, I think you've got to appreciate the fact that, if you look at what Phillips Consulting has done over the last 25 years, we have helped in building a lot of organizations that are now listed on the stock exchange in one shape, manner, or form, especially the financial services. You go back about 25 years when we started. The banks, they ended up being about nearly over 100 banks. Today they're all consolidated at about maybe 19 or 21 or so. And yet we know that it has been the coming together of all these institutions over the years, working efficiently, that has allowed us to have the strong, bold and confident and successful ones that we have listed on the exchange today. So for financial services, it has been a lot, and that has been a very, very dynamic part of the economy. We're weaker now on the that has to do with manufacturing, the value-adding services. We're weak because our policy in this country has never been one to promote internal production and value-adding and diversification. We look too much at oil.
So tell me, how is it like, to do consulting services in an economy that is depressed?
I'll tell me that. Well, put it this way: the key thing is to help to identify what it is that you must do to thrive. We say that the economy at the moment is very, very depressed. We say that at the moment we're coming out of a recession. But to come out of that recession, the story is we need to have a very, very diversified economy. And to do that, we've got to be able to advise institutions on what they need to do and how they need to do it. What products should you sell? What opportunities exist? How do you deal with corporate governance issues? How do you ensure that you build an institution? How do you recruit people? How do you train people? How do you deal with technology, marketing, sales, a whole value chain of activities? Those are the things that we need to start concentrating on. There's no magic wand. Nothing magical is going to happen out of nowhere that's going to make us leapfrog into where we need to be. We've got to work our way through it. And that's the kind of service we provide, and that's the kind of understanding we want people to have as we all work hard to get ourselves out of the situation we find ourselves in.
I'll give you
right
this
now.
last question. Some people have accused consulting services firms of, aiding and abetting corruption, in the sense that they seem to be much interested in the revenue that they will get as consultancy services, and so they advise even government officials against the progress of the society. How do you react to this?
Well, that's a very, very strange thing to say, because you find that most of the respectable consulting firms certainly would not fall into that category. And certainly I know that at Philips Consulting, we have added tremendous value with all the government institutions that we've had to work with. And I can identify a whole lot more, many organizations or consulting firms that have added value. So I'm a bit disturbed by that statement. And where that is true, then again we're falling into the normal category of corruption and aiding and abetting. But I don't think it is a label that I will put on consulting firms. We expect governments or anybody that is a client to any consulting firm to have clarity about what they want. There's got to be measures, there's got to be performance indicators, there's got to be monitoring and evaluation. A whole bunch of things must be in place that would make it difficult, if not impossible, for such things to take place. But certainly I cannot answer that, because we certainly don't fall into that category at all.
Chairman, thank you very much. We appreciate that you are here with us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Congratulations on your 25th anniversary.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Chief Folushu Phillips, Chairman Philips Consulting, talking with TVC News.
All right, thank you very much, Effiong Ekop there. That's Folushu Phillips, the Chairman Philips Consulting, speaking more about consulting and also issues surrounding the Nigerian capital market. Well, that's our show today. Join us tomorrow for more incisive analysis. Join us on Monday. Tomorrow is Saturday, where I'll leave you with the figures of the exchange rate as it stands today. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.